And it's, you know, what do we have to say? It's 2018 and I finally got out of bed. I don't know, it's somewhere a couple days into the year already, but you know what you have to do? Go out for coffee, right? And one thing I've noticed in Canada is that there was, you know, you sort of had some places to go for coffee. They were kind of the big chains, but now I'm really happy to see that there's all these little sort of drive-through, walk-through places that are have come up since I've been away. And this is right here, Coffee Love Bug. There's a tiny little thing there. I know it's a big sign outside. You can see it outside probably. But today I'm here getting my coffee, and there's something very special about this place. We're going to find out. What makes it so unique?
I think what really makes it so unique is you're always leaving feeling better than you walked in. And that's like a guaranteed thing. You're always leaving with a smile. You're coming in, it's early, you're tired. Hey.
We're always having fun. That's number one. That's number one on our list. And good coffee.
Yeah.
We have a lot of customers that say we're the best coffee in town, so that's pretty nice to hear from people.
Well, we use Milano too, Milano Roasting, so they're based out of Vancouver. And Crystal, the owner, she opened the Love Bug 12 years ago. And so she's stuck with them since day one and put a lot of heart and soul into finding what would really make this place unique and good, and yeah.
How are the Courtenayites? Are they big coffee fans? Or?
I feel like the city is definitely growing and people are getting, well, you know, there's little breweries popping up and little coffee shops every now and then, and people, their taste buds are growing, and yeah, I don't want to say snobby.
I think people definitely are turning more into coffee snobs, which we like because
We're coffee
they
snobs.
do care about quality. So yeah, definitely. We're always busy. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I find it interesting because I know that when I come after being in Istanbul, and there's 20 million people, and then I come back to here, and it's a lot smaller. Well, yeah, a little bit smaller. And I find it interesting that, you know, people have a certain speed here. So, you know, it's not as fast maybe as Istanbul might be, but is it are people in that much of a hurry here, or do they sort of take it easy and chill and hang out before they sort of pass through with grabbing their coffees?
I think it definitely depends on the day and the people. Yeah, so there's the hustle bustle, and then we have some people that hang out most of the day, so yeah, a mix of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is more of an in and out area, I feel like, though. You see it's a smaller space, and you're really guaranteed to have your coffee and go. And I would say 90% of customers are regulars, so we don't even have to talk to them. We just hand them their coffee and they give us their money and they go. Sometimes people like that, you know, it's early, they don't really want to talk, and sometimes they like to stay and just chat. We're like coffee therapists.
Yeah, definitely feels like that.
Being a coffee therapist, that sounds like a great job to have, you know, and it's probably nice seeing the transition from, you know, it's the opposite from werewolf to human, probably, right, for some of them?
Yeah, definitely.
It's great.
I am, for sure.
I know. I can't even look in the mirror before I have coffee in the mornings. And of course, with coffee, one thing that's really important is where does it come from? And in Royston, downstairs from where we are right now, is where they roast coffee, and we're going to have a little chat about that. It'll be fun. We'll get to see what they do to beans to make them drinkable. You know, we have coffee and we take for granted the kind of the things that happen. And one thing I like about being in the Comox Valley is the fact that there is a roaster here for coffee beans. And I'm speaking with
Natasha Mew.
Natasha, welcome to the Crossroads. And I'm just noticing before I go any further, the machine's from Turkey, and I spent 15 years in Istanbul, so I'm kind of excited to see this. So, well, you're going to actually be the first time someone's explained the whole roasting process to me in English. So, welcome to the show. How long have you been roasting?
I've been roasting for 5 years now. Yeah. And so if you want, I can show you the process of what I do.
Sure, please.
So just over here we've got the green beans. They're fair trade, organic. They're Arabica beans. So there's two different types of beans. There's Robusta beans and there's Arabica beans. Robusta beans are double the size, more caffeine, but they're a lower grade and a lower taste. The Arabica beans are better flavor. They're grown at higher altitudes. They're just an all-around better bean. So those are Arabica beans. So I've done up my secret recipe blend over there. So this is the hopper here. So that's where the green beans go. Once I've reached temperature, which is usually 200 degrees at the very beginning, that's when I actually turn the gas off. So this is run by natural gas. You can see the burners down there. So once it hits 200, actually turn the gas off, and the green beans go from the hopper to the drum. So this is a big steel drum that's constantly rotating so that the beans don't burn on one side. So once the beans are in here, there's about a 15-minute window. They're just kind of roasting, doing their thing. Then I'll come up to what's called my first crack. So you can actually hear the beans cracking like popcorn or like a fire in there. So that's your first crack. So at that point, again, turn the gas off. Then there's another 2-minute window. And then you turn the gas back on. It raises up again in temperature. And then I'll come up to my second crack. Second crack is when I actually turn the gas off, open the exhaust, and then I have this little spoon here. So I can pull this out, which I can't right now because it's roasting. It's to be a little smoky. You can see the green beans. But I pull that out near the end, and I just really keep an eye on the color. So at that point, that's when I'm looking for the color of the bean to make sure I'm at the right roasting point. So then this is just the door here. Once it's ready and I'm happy with it, open that up and it drops in here, and this is just a cooling area.
I see.
So on a dark roast, you'll have 2 cracks, and on a medium roast, there's just 1.
Okay, so it's a simple process yet very precise, and it takes a what's most important? A good eye, a good nose, good taste buds.
All of the above, but definitely a good eye. Near the end, that's where you're really watching the color, because it can change within seconds of it being an espresso, and now it's a dark roast. Yeah, so.
Well, given the machines from Turkey, have you ever done any Turkish coffees?
We have not, no.
Okay, we won't tell anyone that.
That's just a secret.
There's, I know that having been in Turkey, that Turkish coffee is pretty much predominantly the coffee they had there. When I first went there, you had Turkish coffee and instant coffee, or they'd say Nescafe.
Oh, okay.
You want coffee or Nescafe, and it was pretty scary. They have introduced more sort of exotic beans and different roasts and things like that. So it's in the last 5 years, have you noticed, from, I guess you probably get feedback from customers and stuff like that, changes in the coffee palate of Canadians?
Slightly. I mean, there's always the diehard medium drinkers, the diehard dark roast drinkers, but there is a trend. Like, there's certain roasters who only roast medium because they find that their clientele just likes more of a medium roast. We're more so on the dark end of the spectrum, but there's just so much you can do with coffee, with blending and different, like we have one from Ethiopia, and it's actually got quite like a berry note to it, which is very different, and it's, particular. So some people love it, some people really don't like it. Right. There's just a huge trend with blending and just changing the flavor profile and taste of the bean. Yeah. So there's lots going on.
Do you drink coffee?
I do, just a little bit, yeah.
I know for tasting, but sometimes, like, if you work in a bar, the last thing you want to do is drink, and if you work with roasting coffee all day, do you find it difficult going out to restaurants and you order a coffee and it's not your coffee, and you go,
Yeah, we have had experiences like that, yeah. I mean, some places do have good coffee, but I have to say ours is the best.
What got you into this roasting business?
I actually was the owner's babysitter 15 years ago, and then she asked me if I wanted a job in her cafe, and I've just continued on, and now I'm actually roasting it. So I've been a barista for a very long time, and now I'm a roast master. So yeah.
That's very exciting. Did you ever think at one point in your life that you're going to be roasting coffee?
No, I actually didn't. Nope, didn't occur to me. But yeah, I definitely love it. It diversifies my job. So I'm doing everything now. I'm like a Jill of all trades. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time, and we're going to go and try some coffee upstairs too, and taste some of the final product. And again, thanks a lot. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year. Thank you.
Okay. Well, when it comes to lunch and finding something that you can walk in, grab and take out, or have a little seat in a corner and chill. Now in Cumberland, it's Glo Cafe, and I have
Carly.
Hi, Carly. How are you today?
Great, thank you.
So you've been open not too long. What's the whole background, and what made you get into this line of business?
Well, I've always loved cooking and baking, and have been fairly, conscious with what I eat. So I decided Cumberland doesn't have anything plant-based or vegan, so we offer here, it's mostly vegan, plant-based all, yes, gluten-free options for people. Thought we'd bring something to Cumberland that it doesn't have. So we've been doing pretty good. Been open for 6 months now, and yeah.
How is I've been into Cumberland a couple times, and it seems like a really neat community. Are you from the area, or are you?
Yeah.
So you didn't have to. Sorry?
Raised in the Comox Valley. Yep. Grew up not too far from here, not directly in Cumberland, but I did go to school here in Cumberland. Yep.
Oh. And I hear lots of different things about this area. Is it all true or false?
What kind of things do you hear? What are you hearing?
Well, they say it's even though it's Comox Valley, it's a little different than the rest of like Courtenay or Comox. What's different about it? I'd like to know, because I've been living overseas for many years. I'm back in Canada, but I'm also kind of new to the island, and so I'd like to get the sort of the lowdown on the fun things, the cool things, the idiosyncrasies of this part of the valley.
Well, I grew up here. I went to school here, and this cafe used to be a Chinese food restaurant. So that was however many 20 odd years ago, but it's definitely booming and growing. It's mountain bikers and the tourists and young families that are here. It's amazing how that's grown since I was here, even just in the last 10 years or so. Pretty chilled out little community, but it's got a good community feel, lots of young families. Yeah.
So you were accepted into the neighborhood when you opened up, eh?
Yes, I've been very, very graciously accepted by all the locals, which was a bit scary at first, but everybody's been really, really warm and welcoming and supportive too. So yeah, some of my biggest customers are definitely people across the street, so they've helped me for sure, and mentored me as well. So. Yeah.
So it's a supportive community then when it comes to small business.
Absolutely, yeah, really good feel to this community, yeah.
Oh, that's great. Thanks again so much for talking with me.
Thank you. Have a good day. Come back for lunch.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, bye-bye. And on a cold winter day, there's nothing like going in and getting a quick soup and sandwich. And in Courtenay, we have the soup pot. And over this way, I have Gordon and Heather. Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
So, what's in a soup that makes it so special?
Lots of love.
Yeah, I'd agree. Lots of love, lots of veg.
I know that soups are it's probably the best comfort food on the planet. And what got you into sharing that beautiful food?
We wanted to do something where people could get fast food that wasn't going to kill them. So we love soup. We always eat soup. At home, the stock pot's always on. So we thought, why not do something for the public? You know, yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. And how long have you been doing soups for the public?
17, 18 months.
In this location?
In this location, but I've been cooking all over this city and on the island. So I've been making soup for lots of people, and I thought, well, why not do it for myself?
Yeah, 25 years or so he's been cooking soups. So.
Well, soups and everything.
Okay. And so this is a nice little spot, and this is something that's important. I think that, you know, you do have probably a regular clientele. How do you find having the little tiny shop like this?
What we originally wanted was a food truck. So we call ourselves a food truck without wheels. And it's exactly the same concept. So, yeah, we're just stationary.
Right.
And it works really well. People, good parking so people can get in and get out with their big trucks. The working boys, they love it. They bring their trailers in, they're out faster than anywhere else. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a little more portable in a sense, I guess. Is that the way? But even though it's stationary, but you know, having that, it's a smaller space to maintain and anything else, and having, you know, staff for tables and stuff like that. I guess.
Yeah, no employees, so it's just us. We're not accountable to anybody. Nobody's accountable to us. We come in, we do our job, we go home. It's great. Everything, the customers, 2-3 times a week. Some guys come every day. It's amazing.
And lots of new people. People drive by and see us and come back, and then we see them all the time. Yeah.
First timers coming in, they sample all the soups that day, and then they'll leave, and we'll see them tomorrow, and then they'll come back. We'll see them 3 or 4 times in the first couple of weeks. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a nice, healthy, fast alternative.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you have different soups, do you ever get people coming in and going, "What? You don't have?"
Every now and then.
Absolutely. Everybody wants clam chowder all the time, and so we just don't do clam chowder.
That's great.
Yeah. We've got about 40 or 50 soups that we make. We cycle through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, I think that I'll let you get ready for the lunch crowd, and I thank you so much. And I think we're actually going to take a break now and have our lunch. So, okay.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
You too. And of course, to end the day, you have to have a responsible brew. And speaking of responsible brews and very tasty brews, Cumberland Brewing. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
And your name is Darren, is it?
Darren Adam, yeah.
Darren, what got you into the brewing business?
Well, it was a happenstance, really. I was working at another job commuting, and then I met Caroline and Mike Timchuk. And Mike was a brewer for about 30 years, and then he started a little pizzeria called Ryder's Pizza in Cumberland. And I met them, and the rest is kind of history. That was about 4.5 years ago.
Great. I noticed there's the periodic table of beer on the wall there, and there's X's on that. What do the X's signify?
They are the beers that we have made already, or the styles that we've come close to. The thing about the periodic table is that it is just a reference. Nowadays, a lot of these styles and guidelines have been kind of thrown out the window, and you can do just about anything you want. So they indicate some of the styles that we have made.
That's fascinating. I've been here in the evening, and it's a very active place, and it's a very social place. We do some very unique things here. What is like this sort of craft brewery or microbrewery is something that has been developing over the years in British Columbia. And what do you think is the success of it? Like, besides people are going to have a beverage home or out or something. What makes it so special? Because this place I know is pretty busy.
I can't speak to all of them, but I know with our particular business model, we wanted to create a community brewery, and the idea behind it is to create a traditional gathering place, much like the definition of a British public house. Canadian pubs have never really quite been that thing. So we're trying to get back to that root where people meet and they socialize, and I always say good ideas start here, bad ideas end here, and everything in between. So it's all about creating a place where everyone feels welcome. So we have families that come in, we have single women that come in, and a lot of times that wouldn't happen in a more traditional pub. So it's a safe place where people can be and socialize, meet new friends.
That's excellent. And with 2017 having ended and 2018 is now just it's a happy brew year.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
How was 2017 for you?
It's great. We've been in a state of building from the day we opened 3 years ago. We just passed our 3rd year anniversary, and it's just been constantly growing to try to meet the demand. The thing is, we say we're a tiny brewery in a thirsty village. Well, they were more thirsty than we thought. So we're still trying to up our production to be able to meet next summer's demand. So we're constantly growing, but we're looking forward to a point where we can find our hull speed and find our efficiency and stop the madness of constant projects and growth.
Sounds exciting. Well, I know you've got a lot to do, and is that construction out there yours?
Yeah, we're making more room for more tanks to make more beer. Not for more people, but more tanks and more beer.
That's excellent. Thanks so much for your time. I know you're really busy, so I'm not going to keep you any longer, Darren. And
No problem.
happy 2018.
Thank you very much. Carry on.
You take care.
Absolutely.
Be good.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And in hindsight, I think Happy Brew Year is my invention. I don't know if it is or not, but I made that up on the fly. And at the end of the day, we always have to do something a little bit forbidden because of all that hard work we've done. And of course, Forbidden Brewing in the Comox Valley is one of my favorite places, actually. Live jazz on Friday nights. And on the other side of the bar, here's Mike. Mike, welcome to the Crossroads. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So 2017's over, 2018's beginning. How was 2017 in the brewery business?
2017 was good. We're hoping 2018 will be better. Yeah.
What got you into this? Is it a mess or is it a career move? What got you into this whole brewing stuff?
Well, I love beer, and I was looking for something to do, so I decided beer for a living. How can I get any better? So here we are today, 3.5 years later.
3.5 years. Did you ever wake up in the morning saying, why am I doing this? Or do you still like the flavor of what you produce?
Every morning, I ask myself, why? Yes. But every day, it pays back a little bit. Yeah. I really enjoy the people, really enjoy the beer, the experience. Being my own boss is something I need to do. So it works out. Yeah.
That's great. Now, we've talked before, and there's a discussion between there's microbrew, and this is more what's known as a nano brewery. Can you explain a little more on that idea?
Yeah, nano brewery is technically about 3 barrels or less in production capacity. And we're less than that. We brew in 50-liter kettles, which is really labor-intensive, time-intensive, painstaking. We're expecting to get out of that this year. We're looking at a 10-hectoliter brew house in the near future, and that'll take us into the microbrewery level. Yeah.
Okay. What are the advantages or disadvantages in the nano style? Because I know obviously it's labor intensive, but product-wise, I know that I've been here and I've tasted. No, let's face it. I drank beer here, and what is the Is there going to be a difference in that once you go to other sides?
We are going to do our best to maintain our styles, our flavor profiles, because we love the beer the way it is, and that should be attainable. The biggest change is that it'll make our beer more affordable, so we'll be able to distribute and still make money. Right now, we can only sell it pretty much in-house and make a profit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it makes our market very small, and it's not sustainable. So microbrewery is sustainable, and hopefully this year we start making money. Mm-hmm. That would be awesome. Yeah.
How did you come up with the name Forbidden? Because it's kind of I'll just leave it at that. How did you come up with that name?
Well, obviously the local landmark, Forbidden Plateau, it has a great history, a great local history. But it also lends itself to Prohibition era and all the good things in life that are forbidden, restricted, like beer. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we have this lovely little landmark that's hidden, well, cleverly hidden in town, by the way. I've actually, when I moved to town here a year ago, it was like, I was finding different places. I found your place here. Anything you'd like to say regarding the new year?
Well, we're looking forward to continuing Friday night jazz and Sunday afternoon jazz. We really, really enjoy that, and yeah, so do the people. Yeah, we'll just keep it going. We're going to start pushing kegs out the door and hopefully get into canning shortly. Yeah.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Mike. And we're at the Crossroads here. We will definitely keep an eye on what's all the changes that come up in the next little while. Take care. Thanks a lot.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time.
Pleasure.